KeyDigital, the experts in digital audio visual and control systems.
Welcome to another exciting edition of KD Live. I'm joined by my always illustrious partner in crime, Jonathan Ferry, our VP of Product Education and Experience. And of course, you know me, I'm Dwayne Rains. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at KeyDigital Systems. And we are very, very excited to present a new product that we have coming out. And I believe it's live within a week. So by the time you see this somewhere, whether you see us live or rebroadcasted, this product will be live. And it is very exciting. We've had our KD-MLV 4x2 Pro for a number of years, and we're going to step it up a notch, Jonathan, and you're going to tell us all about this new KD-MLV 4x4 Pro, which is all 4K, which is amazing and all very exciting. So I'm going to let you take it away, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dwayne. Yeah, new year, new product. Hey, this is a good one to get involved in. You know, the MLV 4x2 was so popular for us for such a long time. Still is, in fact.
Still is. And got several projects with it right now going live.
Yeah. So you know, for those of you who want to check it out on the web, if you just go to KeyDigital.com. You can check it out from our new product section, because this is brand new, doesn't get any newer than this. And once you enter in, you'll be able to find it, KD-MLV 4x4 Pro. So here it is in the video processing solutions section, KD-MLV 4x4 Pro. And so if you're familiar with our 4x2 multi-view processor, also known as a tiling processor. This is a 4x4 matrix with 4 sets of mirrored outputs for a grand total of 8 possible displays. And we include all 4 of those receivers in the box. Let's take a look at the application diagram. All 4 of those receivers are powered by the head-end unit, the MLV 4x4 Pro. So you don't need to struggle to find the space for those power supplies behind the displays.
And as we mentioned earlier, this is all 4K, 4K in, 4K out. And you know, before we did have 4K on the quad view of the MLV 4x2, but all the multi-views are in 4K. All the individual views are full screen, are full 4K, and as Jonathan mentioned, seamless matrix switching. So no black screen while it does a needed handshake or anything like that. So this thing can be used in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, that's right. So we're showing here, for example, a 4x4 matrix scenario where you have four sources. They're all playing US football or sports. Also going to be very popular for your gaming caves. I just had a gentleman on the phones today setting up a gaming cave with the video wall processor, 4 different consoles plugged into that unit. But you got 4 different DirecTV or cable boxes, Dish Network plugged in as the sources. You got your 4 displays connected over the receiver. You could choose source 1, 2, 3, or 4 in full screen, or source 5, if you will, is the multi-view layout. When you assign the multi-view layout, that is the multi-view layout for all connected outputs. So you can't have a quad on one output and this kind of a primary on the right side on the other outputs, just so everybody understands how it works. There's one.
But what you can do, Jonathan, is, as this diagram shows, we've got 2 of our AMP 220s in this system as well. So we've got our patio displays. Now they are mirroring what's on inside the restaurant, but if you wanted to have different audio on the patio than what you have in the restaurant, you can do that because the audio can be matrix separately.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's take a look at these features. Dwayne, you should see my PowerPoint now for the product.
Yes, sir.
So as Dwayne mentioned, independent audio matrix, that kind of works two ways. Number one, when you're in a multi-view mode, of course, you can choose which of the 4 video sources you want to listen to. Number two, even if you're in a matrix full screen, you could be watching one thing and listening to the other if you want. So one of them could have some music to it, or the news perhaps you want to listen to whilst watching something else. You're fully able to do that. The mirrored HDMI and CAT outputs with the 4 receivers included. It is a 4K 10 gigabit per second input and output, much better than the other unit, which, that one came out about 7 years ago, so 1080p was still definitely the standard at that time. It did a 4K up convert because you had 4 quadrants of 1080p equals 1080p times 4, 4K. Here on this product, you can do 4K resolution input and output. And there's the ability to down convert per output. So let's say, for example, you do want to send all of those contents into the multi-viewer as 4K resolution, not a problem at all. You could send those sources, that content, to any display at the 4K resolution or at 1080p or even at 720p as well. So now we've added an additional resolution down convert option. So this is really going to be ideal for when you need to integrate with those legacy projectors, legacy displays, but especially the projectors. When it comes to the bar restaurants, for example, they've got some mix of legacy devices, and this is something that you can install for those customers without it being a total overhaul of the system, Dwayne.
Absolutely. The other thing we mentioned too, we were talking about audio a while ago. While we have the matrixing options, also we can do both analog or digital audio up to, DTS digital up to 5.1 or Dolby, so that makes it a great, not just commercial product, but a great residential product as well.
Yeah, and that's really a carryover of where we when we went from the first gen MLV 4x2 to the second gen MLV 4x2 Pro, and added that support. And now MLV 4x4 Pro, of course, we're not taking anything away. We actually did go from PCM coaxial to the Toslink optical, just because sound bars have become such a popular solution for audio in each zone. Let's take a look at the web UI also. This is also very cool. Of course, we've got the KeyDigital app support for the product. The free app, you can control it through any control system. And in fact, I just mentioned output or in source 5. So you can basically send the same matrix commands as you always have to every KeyDigital matrix. Select source 5, and that is the multi-view input, like I mentioned. So you could use those existing matrix drivers from any control system you like, or the Compass control, of course, the free app on any iOS. But what about any device at all, Dwayne?
Yeah, this is very exciting because for our KD app is amazing. It runs so many of our products straight out of the box, but it is limited to iOS devices. And there are some people who just, for whatever reason, they don't want to do Apple, But here now you can go right on with any browser and pull the GUI up and operate, as long as you have connectivity to the secure network that this is on. It's amazing.
Yeah, it sure is. And so you can do your video routing adjustments. You can select the multi-view layout that, again, if any display that's viewing multi-view will receive that layout. You can adjust your audio while you're in multi-view mode. You can select your audio while you're in full screen mode. You see the friendly naming there, the outputs, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, dining, the inputs, DirecTV 1, ESPN. This is something becoming pretty popular now. A lot of folks, they just set it and forget it on those cable sat boxes, set it to the channel you want, and now just select that source. It's a very simplified approach, and I can appreciate simple for sure.
And one other thing I'd love to mention is we still have the custom presets, so we can still layer, like do a picture-in-picture. People like that from, they're used to that for years, having 2 cable boxes and things like that. But with our MLV technology, obviously you can do much more than just picture in picture, because we can layer video over, we can do transparency. So in a commercial application, they may want a logo that's over the bottom corner, like their ESPN or something like that. So that is all still capable from what we already had in the MLB 4x2. Now it's in the MLB 4x4 as well.
That's right. And here we have the audio. Another feature we've added in is the latency adjustment. So you can go up to 255 milliseconds there. Everything else, as far as you know, any kind of zone volume, stuff like that, you'll have to go through your amp or DSP for. We mentioned the analog on the balance, unbalanced 6-pin, digital on the Toslink optical. And another very, very cool feature here is you could select from 9 test patterns built in. So that you could essentially select that to ensure, you know, before, you know, the cable company didn't install the boxes, right? Not a problem. You can go ahead and just send the test pattern to the zone to ensure that your wiring is good, to ensure that everything's working properly, display, RX unit, cabling, output of the matrix, etc. There's 9 to choose from. Why did I only show you 8? The other one's just a black screen. And then upon popular request, a lot of folks, they want to put some text in the corner of the window. You know, the applications like a museum, for example, they want to show 4 things at once, and they say, hey, group number 1, this is your, we're calling your attention here. Group 2, class 2, 3, class 4, etc. And that's a good way to do it. Or in those operation centers where you need to view 4 things at once, and sometimes having all of that information in front of you like that can be a little overwhelming. So this text overlay and the 9 test patterns is going to be a really great solution for those type of applications.
Jonathan, well, you can stay here, but same thing there, because you know we have a lot of our end users and integrators and that design our multi-viewers with multiple multi-viewers feeding another multi-viewer for LED walls, etc., for things of that nature. So with that text overlay, that makes that even more powerful. So you're in a knock center, say they just got an LED wall, but they want to have, you know, 16 different feeds coming in. So we could do that with multiple of these, and then you could actually put in here, this is Chicago, this is New York, or this is, you know, Hollywood and Vine, you know, and they're bringing in camera feeds as long as you come in HDMI. There's a lot of different things you can do, as well as, you know, those kinds of things. So that's, you know, it's like when we came out with the MLB 4x2, the original one. Now, I was not with KeyDigital at the time. I was one of your customers, and I know I figured out some things to do with it that weren't necessarily in the initial design. And I know with this piece, our end users are going to really come up with very unique ways to use this now, especially 4K. That's just going to make some projects amazingly functional, and people will be like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, in fact, I actually have some graphics here. Just, yeah, because it's always good to get the, you know, try to get the, show people some ideas of how to sell this in the non-traditional sense, isn't it? And so here, for example, we could see the, when we stack 3 of these multi-viewers together, and with the LED wall, which these LED tiles, of course, are hugely popular at this moment.
And as you know, as we are doing this KD Live, we have this exact scenario going in 2 different casinos in the Dakotas, which we will be bringing out some video from that in a couple of months when those are completed. But so you can show, as we have here, 8 separate sporting events, or 2 side by side, or you know, like that, and or 1 in the middle with 2 on each side. And you can do this with screens, or you can do it with LED walls. And with the LED wall, you don't have the crosshairs from the bezels, etc. So this makes this a very, very exciting Actually, I think our dealer up there, he just did a little video that he shot me. He said he's calling these LED wall processors, which they're not. They actually feed the LED wall processor, but it gives him the ability to do all of this functionality all on an iPad with compass control.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I mean, you take a look here, it might look small, but then you take a look at the ceiling panels and you could count them. There's like 30 of them. It's a 32-foot long LED wall where we're doing this. And yeah, we'll have to have that integrator of ours on. Great customer, great guy. Actually, if you wanted to do these kind of layouts, there already exists a document in the downloads of the MLV 4x2 Pro. We'll go ahead and add those in on the MLV 4x4 Pro as well, of all the popular layouts. And in fact, once our engineers did the numbers on how this works, of course, it is a 3-unit setup. We added this to that document. So it's right there at your fingertips. All you got to do is follow those instructions of those values to input 1, 2, 3. You're good to go. I'm glad you brought that one up, Dwayne. I was thinking about it earlier today and then totally forgot. Anything else you want to bring up, sir?
No, I think that's it. It's very, I've been talking to different people about this because we sent some information out on it last week with the new pricing that went out, and that's added to the price list, and people are already grasping what all it can do beyond. One thing that we did not mention, the MLV 4x2, it had an HDMI out as well as an HD base T out. Now, while this one has 4 network jack out mirrored with the HDMIs, which makes it a little more powerful, it's not an HD base T, so you can't necessarily send the command over. It is our own proprietary technology, which is our EX18G platform, which our extenders use now, a lot of them, but all of that's included in the box, as you mentioned earlier. So it's really exciting. This is a really, really, really cool product, and it's just gonna make so many installers look so good. It's going to make so many customers so happy, and the price we have on it is really, really competitive within the marketplace. And I'm just really excited about it because, the MLV 4x2 has been one of my favorite products for a long time. This one is even better. Yeah,
back when you were a customer, once again.
So that's all I have to say there.
Yeah, that's right. Well said, Dwayne. Nice to see you today. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for having me today, I should say. And we want to thank you all for watching this episode of KD Live. Reach out to us, sales@keydigital.com.
Heard your call coming in for that first order. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate your time.
Let KeyDigital help you keep up with the high demands of